Hello everyone! I wonder if I have a good connection here. I guess I'll find out. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the upcoming full moon on Monday, and I wanted to see what questions you have. And it's not only a full moon, it is a lunar eclipse as well. And with the lunar eclipse, we're going to have a huge, as you guys probably know, we're going to have a huge solar eclipse on August 21st. And so if you look at the cycles of the moon, we had the new moon in Leo a couple weeks ago, and now we're having the full moon in Aquarius. And the full moon in Aquarius, it's the polarized energy. So with the new moon, both the sun and the moon we're in Leo, and now we have the sun still in Leo, and the moon is in Aquarius, or will be in Aquarius by Monday. So Monday, that's August 7th and 11 a.m. in the morning. And so it's a great time on Sunday and Monday to really take some time to get clear, find clarity and clarity of thought, and see what's coming up to be looked at and to be purged. So this is really a great time to get some processes going around where you would like to be for the eclipse, because as that comes closer, that is really the time that we're going to be kind of upgrading and taking in new information and kind of up in our game, so to speak. And to do that, we need to really look at where we're not matching with that energy and where we're not aligning with our full truth. And so a lot of people are curious about these themes of courage right now, and these themes of like not knowing where certain influences are coming from. For example, not knowing if they're really supposed to be doing something, or if that's just their head, or if that's their heart, or if that's their gut, or what's going on right now in terms of like where you'd like to see yourself in the future. So one really important thing to do is to set space and time in your day to slow down the mind and to slow down the shoulds that might be coming up for you around where you should be, or where you should be investing your time, your money, your resources. And once we do that, then we can really get to the clarity of things. And so definitely I recommend anytime you can do that. And that's just like solid, like I say that a lot. And so if you've heard me talk about that, then that's why, because really ultimately we can't know what's just overthinking unless we kind of clear some of those thoughts and clear some of the busy monkey mind, so to speak. And so setting time and space to just sit and be. And for me, you know yourself, like I process through talking. And so if you process through talking, you might want to find someone that's not got a lot of influences, is really good at listening, and also, you can process things through together. So that's a really great thing. And I'm lucky. I'm back in my home state, and I'm able to do that with a lot of lovely women here, and that's been really refreshing and really really necessary right now. People that have known me since I was very little, and are able to reflect myself back to me. So as we get to this full moon on Monday, it just becomes important to really know that the energy is amping up. It's probably, I would say, almost more intense than the solar eclipse will be on the 21st in terms of just that kind of chaotic energy. Whereas once we get to the solar eclipse, it's definitely going to be intense, but it's going to be more grounded energy, and more things will have come up already, and you'll kind of know where to go with it or where to take it, more so than with this Monday. Things are just really, really heightened. And I was saying, the solar eclipse will be in totality in Oregon, and I was hanging out right where the eclipse totality will be, and throughout Portland. And I'm like, wow, these energies are all already here, and a lot of it has to do with our where we're at mentally and our mental spaces. And the other thing to note with our mental spaces is Mercury, that's going to be going retrograde August 12th. And so this is the week right now to get the details in order so that you can kind of chill a little bit next week. As Mercury goes retrograde, there's certain times where when Mercury goes retrograde, you're gonna feel it stronger, and certain people feel it stronger. So if you're not someone who feels it very strongly, that's great and good. And if you are, just being aware. Like for instance, I've been thinking about upgrading some technology things, and I'm like, well, I'm either going to do it now, or I'm going to wait till it's over, because I know I'm really affected by the Mercury retrogrades. So you know who you are. And with that, that kind of the amping up energy that I'm feeling, it's all mental. Like I really feel it as all mental when I'm in the city, especially Portland. And it's really important to notice that don't get pulled into that. Create your own, set your own pace for yourself. And it's really amped up right now. There's a lot of like just people talking about like the eclipse and things like that, and you have the ability to make your own story around that, and with anything. Also the fires that are happening, and you know, I think that they're probably going to be present for a while, that we can make our own stories about that. And there's a lot of like panic energy that seems to be surging around the unknowns, and it's really important to stay in your center and to stay in a place of your own story around that. And part of it might be just getting out for a little bit and then coming back in once you feel more calm. But don't let yourself get pulled into that thinking and that panic. So that's really important this next week. And so as things come up for you, finding ways to really have some ways to look at it all and to purge. I talked a lot about, I have a new blog post about it's really windy out here. I have a new blog post about the lunar eclipse on Monday. So if you haven't read that, definitely read it. And I'm just talking a lot about, you know, different parts of our consciousness around paving our own way and like being kind of rebellious or courageous. Sorry, text. It's really important to honor what's coming up for you this week, because it's not coming up by chance. You might have certain people coming back into your life or bumping into people. That's not by chance. So we're all in this place together, and it's all about co-creation and recognizing that. And so whoever's coming back into your life or comes into your mind to maybe reach out to, it's definitely important to honor those things. And it's going to help you come to more of yourself, as I was talking about earlier. So definitely paying attention to that. And the eclipse that will happen on the 21st, is a new moon. It's a new moon solar eclipse. And with that, so we'll be able to see that, but it's a powerful, I often talk about, people don't like this, that I talk a lot about poop a lot, but I do that. So I was talking about the eclipses, all eclipses. So we had the full and new moon, and I always pay attention to those. But when we have an eclipse on those full or new moons, they're like a powerful flush, so to speak. And before that powerful flush happens, sometimes there is the clogging of the toilet and this emotional clogging of our energies or our influences. And so the shit may be piling up, so to speak, in terms of like, you might feel like just everywhere you look, like, what is going on right now? And that's just before the big powerful purge and the big powerful clearing. It tends to rise to the surface so that you can clear it. And so for some people, they really get annoyed when I talk about that. And for some people, it really resonates. You're like, okay, if I can think of this as a big powerful flush that's gonna like take some things away that aren't serving me, it's gonna bring in some new energy, then it's a more positive way of looking at things, instead of always thinking everything's so intense and everything's so negative, or it's just the astrology, so it just must be that I'm supposed to like be suffering. No, it's that we're learning, and when we learn, when we're growing, if you've ever had like, you know, when you have a baby and they're teething, that's amazing that they're going to have these teeth that are so strong and going to be able to tear through meat, you know, or if you're a vegetarian, tear through some kale, or even if you're not, kale's good for you, so eat it. But even though that's a good thing, like we want our kids to have teeth, it is painful to watch your child in pain. And kind of, and the other thing that we say is like, just because they're in pain doesn't mean they have to suffer. And that's with everything, right? And so just because we're growing, and just because it might be, we might be experiencing growing pains, it doesn't mean we have to suffer through that, and that we can have supportive people around us. We can get the support of, whoa, what was that bug? We can get the support of people around us, and we can make sure that we're processing and doing the work that we need to do so that we're not suffering more than we need to. And so suffering always is a choice, and I say that even though as a human, I've definitely suffered, and it's not something that's bad or negative. It's just saying that it's a choice that we have. Even if we're growing and we're experiencing pain, it doesn't mean we have to suffer. So with this eclipse season, it's just definitely like a big flush of things that are no longer working for us, and different places where we're supposed to step into more of our power and our courage, especially with the Leo energy. Leo's all about courage, all about creativity and being our unique kind of sparkle and shine person. And so that's a lot of what this is coming through with this, the Leo eclipse that's going to be on the 21st. But first we have to look at community. And on the 7th, on Monday, we're going to have this full moon eclipse, and it's going to be really bringing about, like, how do I fit into the community, and do I need to be conforming more so that people understand me? Do I need to change my messaging so that people understand me? Do I need to get a new job so that I'm looked upon as better or more successful? And the combination of Leo and Aquarius, they're polar opposites, and I talked about this. So with the full moon, it's always going to be the polarization, and with a full moon eclipse, it's going to be even more. And with that polarity, that's the opportunity for us to find balance, and that's the opportunity for us to merge the energies. And so we're merging community and individuality, community and courage to lead the community, courage to be our full selves in community. And if we can be our full selves at home when we're alone, that's great. But really what's going to be most effective is being our full selves around other people and not being sucked into the group think or the group mindset. And so it's a really great time to honor whatever little things, it might be really little for you, but honor those because they're coming through for a reason around community and who you are and where you're meant to go and where you need to show more courage. Like, you know more than anybody, like, where you don't feel courageous. And I just, I don't necessarily think it's an important time for you to act on those. It's an important time for you to integrate where that is and where you want to see more courage and creativity and leading of the pack, even if it's, behind the scenes in the next 6 months. So the eclipse energies last for 6 months, and we're setting this new pace. So I would love to answer, if you guys have any questions, you can type them into the chat and I'll try to answer those today. But yeah, so this is a great time to really just be clear about the other thing that's happening is Jupiter and Pluto are in opposition. I think it's an opposition. And when they're in an opposition, it's really bringing forth more of our deeper consciousness that might not be at the surface, that we might be a little bit less aware of. And so when that happens, Jupiter's expanding, asking us to expand more on these subconscious urges or impulses around fitting in or around community. And so when this is happening, it's a really great time to set intention around what's most important to you and kind of looking at, like, what has been holding you back. Where have you felt restricted around that? Because Pluto is all about going there. Like, it's just going to be happening for you. So the more that you can create consciousness around it, the happier you're going to be. It's not that you can avoid it, or it's not that it's something that is negative or whatever. It's just like the more you take the time to integrate and look at these things, the farther that you'll go. So I highly encourage you to just set some time on Sunday, Monday to do that. And yeah, if you have a lot of fixed signs in your chart, you're going to be feeling this whole month more than probably the rest of the crew, and that's okay. So the fixed signs are Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, and Taurus. So if you have a lot of those planets or energies in your chart, your natal chart, then you're probably going to be feeling this time a little bit more than other people. And so it's just good to recognize that and to notice that when you have fixed energy, it's hard to move it. And so it's coming up so that you can have a little bit more flexibility and recognize, oh, I'm really fixed on these ideas or notions, so that you can be a little bit more movable and mutable with that energy. Yeah, so definitely this is a great time for just taking a little bit of space, especially when Mercury goes retrograde next week, taking some space and chilling out a little bit with technology and getting more clear within your own internal landscape around, working. Maybe you've started projects that you've kind of left beside and thinking that you're not supposed to do them anymore, and maybe they're coming back up. Mercury Retrograde is a great time to, like, get in there and rework some programs, redo, reset, reintegrate, what's that word? Reinjuvenate. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm a little jet lagged, but there's some word there that I'm trying to hit on that you know what I'm talking about, and definitely do that thing. And it's a time for you to really process through, with the eclipse and the Mercury retrograde happening at the same time. It's a really great time to process through this big metaphysical flush that's happening, so that you can really come out of it a whole different, it's not that you're a whole different person, it's a whole different vision for yourself. And it's a great time to listen to a little David Bowie. I really talk about the David Bowie energy because he had Aquarius rising, Leo moon. It's like that, the polarization, and so that's where we're at right now. And what came from his psyche, like, it's just revolutionary. So we're all there, and we're all there together, and we don't want to get sucked into groupthink. We don't want to get sucked into the collective unconscious around being unconscious, and around being thinking that we have to fit into the systems that are here, when in reality we're all coming up with new systems together. So the more that you know what makes you happy and what makes you shine and makes you more creative, is going to really help you to be a meaningful part of that new community. Okay, my connection is going, but yeah, I'll just show you kind of the surroundings here. It's very serene, and there's cows up there. I don't think you can see them, but it is beautiful here, and I'm enjoying my time up here. And I will be doing a class on Monday. If you're interested in doing a little kind of clearing and energy debris, clearing out some energetic debris on Monday, we're going to be talking about the full moon, and just like what eclipses are, and like just a little astronomy and also a little astrology. And that is on Monday, so if you can join us, that's a great time to really get into more of the space, do a little meditation with us. So that's Monday, and that is available on my blog posts that I will link to in the comments here. And so that's Monday, the August 7th, and I will be back in Portland on the 16th and seeing clients then. So if you're interested in having a chart reading or an intuitive healing session, definitely reach out. And I also do distance work. So have a great week, you guys. Take care.